Menendez says he's running his own campaign. He has no staff. Realistically, it's a rather craven and cynical move. It allows him to continue raising money for his quote-unquote campaign, which he can then pay for attorney's fees. It also potentially gives him a bargaining chip if he wants to cut a deal with federal prosecutors to resign. That often happens in these corruption cases where he says, all right, lessen the chances, I'll just leave office or I won't run again or something like that. He's not going to say that out loud, but I don't think his chances are great, but it's not a real good look.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with magazine editor David Mark. David, Senator Bob Menendez, he's in the midst of his criminal trial right now, but he's filed to run as an independent in the New Jersey Senate race. Why?
Yeah, this is one that hasn't gotten quite as much attention with former President Trump's criminal cases, Hunter Biden on trial in Delaware. There's actually a sitting U.S. Senator, Democrat Robert Menendez from New Jersey, on trial for corruption charges. In the midst of it all, he's actually filed to run for re-election as an independent, not as a Democrat. A sitting Democratic congressman from New Jersey, Andy Kim, already won that nomination. Menendez says he's running his own campaign. He has no staff. Realistically, it's a rather craven and cynical move. It allows him to continue raising money for his quote-unquote campaign, which he can then pay for attorney's fees. It also potentially gives him a bargaining chip if he wants to cut a deal with federal prosecutors to resign. That often happens in these corruption cases where he says, all right, lessen the chances, I'll just leave office or I won't run again or something like that. He's not going to say that out loud, but I don't think his chances are great, but it's not a real good look.
Do you think that this Bob Menendez mess and him announcing a run as an independent, does that open the door for a potential Republican candidate to have a chance in that race, or is it still really just a Democratic, easy win?
It's pretty tough to see it happening. The Republican candidate, interesting guy, Northern New Jersey, gay Republican, fairly liberal on social issues. He hasn't gotten a lot of publicity, but in theory it could help him. New Jersey's pretty blue at this point, so it's hard to see people actually voting for Menendez, but I should say he did get enough signatures to actually get on the ballot, which was like close to 1,000 or so. And his son, Congressman Rob Menendez, a first-term lawmaker, actually beat back a Democratic primary challenge. And there was a lot of chatter that he might be hurt by his father's name. So I don't think it's enough to win, but he's still got something going for him. The guy's been in office for decades. It's the Northern New Jersey, Hudson County machine, so that counts for something.
Do you think the Democrats' Senate majority overall is potentially at risk? You have, strong Republican candidates in Maryland, for example, and Larry Hogan. I mean, do you think that Democrats are starting to sweat a little bit?
Yeah, Democrats are definitely on the defensive. They now have this 51 to 49 majority. You've got you've got one seat that's already automatically going Republican in West Virginia.
Right.
That's 50-50. Then you've got these very vulnerable Democratic incumbents, Sherrod Brown in Ohio and John Tester in Montana. Then you have some second-tier races like Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, Jackie Rosen in Nevada, and then you have Maryland, where it shouldn't even be a contest in one of the bluest states in the country, but former Governor Larry Hogan is making it a race. Doesn't mean Republicans are guaranteed to win the majority, but boy, they've got a much better playing field than the Democrats.
I wanted to focus in on Sherrod Brown, not to put you on the spot, but
Yeah,
Sherrod Brown for a minute. Polls do show him, in some cases, beating Bernie Moreno.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump's polling lead in Ohio is so sizable that no one expects Biden to be competitive. So what explains that discrepancy?
Well, Brown, kind of like Menendez, and I'm not talking about ethics here, but he's been in office almost continuously for 40 plus years. So people know him. He's been a senator since 2007 when he had beat a Republican incumbent in 2006. He's got a personal brand. You get a first-time candidate like Bernie Moreno. He may have run before, but anyway, first time as a nominee, a wealthy businessman, but you don't know how he's going to play on the campaign trail. The other thing is, Trump won Ohio in 2016 and 2020 with 54% of the vote, give or take, each time. That's pretty good, but Ohio is still a big, diverse state, not just ethnically, but you get all kinds of different ways, income, etc. A lot of moving parts. Trump may have maxed out at 54%, and he might not do as well this time, giving some room to Sherrod Brown, but we shall see.
Well, David, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
You can get more reporting from David and the rest of the political team at washingtonexaminer.com.